Good morning and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Monday, May 4th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are trading lower. We're down 0.12% right now, a little over a tenth of 1%. A couple key developments going on. I mean, the markets, first off, we got a big week of earnings ahead of us. A lot of key reports coming out. But, we're also looking at a lot of economic reports. A lot of key labor reports are also coming out today. So we got earnings and economic reports, and then you got the Iranian situation. And there are reports that Iran has launched 2 missiles at U.S. Navy ships this morning, or at least one ship. As a net result, we're seeing a spike in energy prices this morning. Then you look at, on the economic calendar today, we get the factory orders that they're due out later this morning. In terms of corporate news, the big story out on the tape really is this GameStop order for, to buy out eBay. I mean, that's a big deal they haven't heard anything back, but this is a big acquisition for GameStop. I want to say it's a heavy week for shareholders meetings. We got a lot of shareholders meetings going on, as well as ServiceNow is having an analyst meeting today. Berkshire Hathaway had their meeting over the weekend, and the thing is they're holding record levels of cash as they see limited attractiveness or investment opportunities in the market right now. So you got to be a little cautious on that. On the earnings front, CNA Financial and Norwegian Cruise Lines, they're under pressure after their earnings releases. But looking ahead today, after the close, you got ON Semiconductor, you got Williams Company, you got Vertex Pharmaceuticals, and Palantir, all scheduled for release. And then tomorrow morning, you got Shopify, you got Pfizer, you got Anheuser-Busch, you got Archer Daniels Midland, and PayPal scheduled to release. Okay, now let's take a look over at Europe and see the action over the DAX. Now, I've been watching the DAX closely. I mean, it was higher. I mean, and then it fell off after the news of the missile strikes on the U.S. ship. Then it came back to parity, actually moved higher. But you look at it now, it's down about 0.2%. And there is some weakness in the auto sector because on Friday, President Trump said that he was going to raise auto tariffs to 25% from 15%, and that's causing some weakness in that sector. And the index is a little lower, trading lower by 0.15% right now. In London, the markets are closed. It's a holiday. You're not seeing any trading activity going on there. But in CAC, the Paris is down about 0.95%, led lower by weakness in financials and auto stocks. Then you look over at Asia last night, and the Nikkei was closed. In fact, the Nikkei is closed for the next couple of days due to holidays. I think it reopens on Thursday, May 7th. But in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng finished higher by 1.24%. And you saw gains in tech, you saw gains in property stocks. That's positive. Shanghai in China, that market was closed, scheduled to reopen on Wednesday. And then we look over at oil, and oil is gaining this morning. We got WTI at 104. And 2 cents a barrel. That's up 2%, a little over 2%. You got Brent trading at $111.18, up 2.78%. I mean, Iran fired 2 missiles at a naval ship that supposedly was in Iranian water. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I haven't read the details yet on it. But they're acting like they're a real powerhouse and that they have this ability to take on the U.S. They don't. If Trump starts to get upset and he starts to say, you know what, you broke the peace, and he starts to launch missiles against Iran again, it's lights out for them. I mean, it really is. They've got a really it was a really bad decision on their part. But I think that there's also talk about President Trump making a deal to kind of get those cargo ships that have been out to sea for 2 months with sailors on board back to their native countries. He's calling it a humanitarian effort. Iran still wants toll. So it's not clear what's going to happen here, but we'll wait for some additional developments. And also over the weekend, OPEC announced that they're going to be increasing their production over the weekend for June. So that was, relatively positive and should normally weaken oil prices, but the missile strike changed everything. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about earnings that are hitting the tape this morning. We got to start off with Norwegian Cruise Lines, NCLH. Stock's down 6.21%. Now, they did deliver a beat of 9 cents, but it was done on lower revenue, and they don't, the outlook isn't great. Then we got CNA Financial. That stock is actually trading flat this morning. They missed by 20 cents. And then TSN Tyson Foods, that's actually trading higher by 1.60%. They beat by 9 cents, and they did it on higher revenue, which is positive. Upcoming earnings, Palantir comes out after the bell. PLTR, EPS is 29 cents. Expected move is 9.80%. Then you get the Williams Company, WBD. They're also due out after the bell. Their EPS is 65. Their expected move, their EPS is 65 cents, and the expected move is 4.03% when they release today. So it's something to keep an eye on. In terms of economic reports this morning, we got factory orders, and New York Fed Bank President John Williams is supposed to speak at 12:50. But it's a big week for labor market details, because you got the non-farms payroll coming out on Friday. That's a big one. You got the JOLTS report, you got the ADP report, you got the weekly jobless claims coming out. So lots of employment data ready to hit the tape this week. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about stocks hitting the market this morning, moving the market on news. You got Bank of America out there on Apple saying the App Store revenue grew 3.7% in the third quarter of 2026. That's, it's kind of semi-positive for Apple, although the stock is trading lower. Meta, the AI spend is still a question mark, and it's weighing on the stock. Stock's trading a little lower this morning. Netflix, they're planning, they have that Narnia movie, and they're planning a full theater release before bringing it to Netflix. Interesting. Tesla, Spain's Tesla registrations falls 47% year over year in April. Not good for them. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, Amazon's opened up supply chain business to customers. Interesting. Goldman, Anthropic, near a deal with Goldman and Blackstone for a $1.5 billion joint venture. And American Express sees a $1.5 billion proceeds from the sale of 30% in its global business travel group. Interesting. In terms of merger news, the key one really today is GameStop. That $125 a share offer to buy eBay. That's big. eBay hasn't said anything yet, but they will later today. We'll have to wait and see what how they feel about that. In terms of guidance, we've got to talk about Norwegian Cruise Lines, and because they cut their full year 2026 adjusted EPS to $1.45 to $1.79. The street estimate had it at $2.38. That's a big downtick for Norwegian Cruise Lines. No wonder the stock's getting hit. In terms of shareholders meetings, you got shareholders meetings from Eli Lilly, LLY, Bank of America, BAC, Uber, UBER, and the Trade Desk, TTD. And ServiceNow, ticker NOW, they're holding an analyst meeting today after the close. That's one to keep an eye on. In terms of catalyst calls, Citibank ups Frontier, ULCC, Uncle Larry, Charlie, opens up a 30-day positive catalyst watch list on the stock. Now, Frontier does, this is interesting. I can't, but there is something positive happening here, so let's keep an eye out. Ticker ULCC, 30-day positive catalyst watch list by Citibank. Okay, we're moving on to our pick of the day. And you know what? I'm going to go with WMB, William Michael Boyd, which is Williams Brothers, Williams Company, excuse me. Earnings are due out after the bell. EPS is 65 cents, and the expected move is 4.03%. Friday's call volume was 3,008 calls. Put volume was 771. Wow, that's a big spread. Open interest. 88,439 to 49,160. Like that ratio. It's a good ratio. Major brokers are positive. They're raising price targets. Now, I think we're going to see a little more weakness than the market expects today. I'm looking to get with this, low 74, really. I don't know. I might be too aggressive on that, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's my pick of the day. WMB Williams Company. Earnings releases out after the bell today. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the stocks that are moving this morning. See if we see anything really hot. Booz Allen awarded another a transaction authority agreement by U.S. Space Force. Guardian Health, ticker GH, receives FDA approval for Guardian 360. No, eBay does confirm receipt of the buyout proposal from GameStop. Okay. Let's see. Western Union selects Fireblocks to power its first stablecoin. Best Buy is announcing reward points, My Best Buy Plus. Iran is out there saying they're ready for any possible scenario, will not allow the U.S. to bully Iran. You don't hold. You're not a tough guy here. You're not a tough guy. Spirit Airlines, they canceled all their flights. They say most customers are refunded after the abrupt shutdown. U.S. restaurant sales drop as Iran war pushes gasoline prices higher. Coinbase said Friday that a deal has been reached on a key provision of the landmark crypto legislation that could clear the way for the path of the bill to move forward in the Senate. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's talk about Friday's pick of the day. Which was on semiconductor, ticker ON, Oscar Nancy. Listen, I said under 100. Well, the stock opened up at 154, and then it fell to $99.72, and then it rallied the rest of the day, closing at 103.01. You look at the stock this morning, it's trading up again. It's at 104.29, up another 1.22%. So whether you got it in an opening price or my entry price, you made your 1%. Take that money, walk away. Don't hold on to it into earnings. Be happy with the 1%. When you do that, you're going to have wins over and over again. It's when you get greedy. That's when, things go a little haywire. But, On Semiconductor was a pure winner on Friday, and we were happy, and we called it a day. But very happy. All right, traders, you guys know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green today.